Ever catch yourself humming a tune that sneaks up like an old ghost at a reunion, all misty-eyed and full of what-ifs? That's Pink Floyd's Wish You Were Here for you, a sonic postcard from 1975 that still tugs at heartstrings harder than a bad breakup. But beneath that shimmering guitar riff lies a swamp of drama, lost souls, and enough rock and roll absurdity to make you question if the band was channeling a cosmic prank. We're talking about the history behind the song, the meaning that twists like a Floydian knot, and facts so obscure they'd make Syd Barrett raise an eyebrow, if he could find them. Stick around, because this tale's got more layers than Roger Waters' ego, and we're peeling them back with a smirk. Let's rewind to the ignition point, where this masterpiece sparked to life amid the haze of post-Dark Side exhaustion. Picture the scene. David Gilmour's noodling away on his guitar in Abbey Road Studios, ripping through this killer riff at breakneck speed, like he's late for a tea party with the Mad Hatter. Roger Waters overhears it, stops him cold and says, "Mate, slow it down, make it ache." Boom, the opening hook is born. That 12-string acoustic processed to sound like it's crackling through a dodgy AM radio in your granddad's shed. Gilmour layers it with a fuller solo, building tension until the band crashes in, and suddenly you're not just listening, you're transported. But the lyrics? That's where Waters drops the bomb. He pens them as a poem first, drawing from the gut-wrenching void left by Syd Barrett, the band's original madcap genius who'd spiraled out due to acid-fueled schizophrenia. So you think you can tell heaven from hell, blue skies from pain? That's the opener, unpacking the roots of disillusionment, how we fool ourselves into swapping gold for cold comfort, heroes for ghosts. It's not just a jab at Syd's fractured reality. Waters later admitted it's aimed at himself, that nagging doubt about being truly present in life instead of drifting like a balloon in the wind. Imagine if Syd had stuck around. What if he'd co-written this? We'd have verses about intergalactic teapots and bicycles racing the moon. Instead, it's a raw elegy, with Gilmour's vocals dripping emotion, turning personal loss into universal longing. Fun fact, the intro's radio static? Snagged straight from Gilmour's car stereo, flipping channels past a radio play, and even Tchaikovsky's Fourth Symphony finale. It's like the song's saying, life's a dial, keep turning till you find your frequency. And here's a zinger, Gilmour's cough and heavy breathing right before the guitar kicks in. Not some dramatic flair, the bloke was just clearing his throat after a sip. Myth busted. He didn't quit smoking because of it, but hey, if that hack inspired anyone to stub out, call it a public service. Now zoom out to the album Saga, because Wish You Were Here didn't hatch in a vacuum. It was the beating heart of an LP that nearly broke the band. After the Dark Side of the Moon turned them into accidental superstars, Pink Floyd were knackered, emotionally wrung out like a sponge after a flood. Sessions kicked off in January '75 at Abbey Road, but it was torture, 4 days a week starting at 2:30 p.m., dragging into the night with more darts and pints than actual music. Richard Wright called it difficult, Waters dubbed it torturous, and Nick Mason was so checked out from his crumbling marriage he might as well have been phoning it in from Mars. Engineer Brian Humphreys botched some backing tracks early on, forcing a redo, and interruptions for US tours in April and June didn't help. They started with 3 live-tested epics from '74, Raving and Drooling, You Gotta Be Crazy, and the mammoth Shine On You Crazy Diamond, a sprawling tribute to Syd split into 9 parts to bookend the album. Waters insisted on sandwiching new tracks in between, outvoting Gilmour 3-1. Those other 2 got shelved for Animals, but Shine On became the skeleton, with its wine-glass percussion recycled from an abandoned project called Household Objects. Yep, they once tried making an album with everyday junk like rubber bands and aerosol cans. Absurd, right? What if they'd stuck with that? We'd have symphonies scored for toasters and vacuum cleaners. Instead, we get synth swells on Welcome to the Machine, a savage swipe at industry greed where doors creak open like a trap, symbolizing how fame chews up dreams and spits out hollow parties. Then Have a Cigar, mocking label execs with lines like, "Oh, by the way, which one's pink?" A real question tossed at them by clueless suits. Waters strained his voice belting "Shine On," so Gilmour passed, and in steps Roy Harper, a folk rocker recording next door, to handle vocals. Nailed it in a few takes, adding that outsider snark. But the real drama bombshell? June 5, 1975, during the final mix of "Shine On." A stranger waddles in, overweight, shaved head and eyebrows, clutching a plastic bag like it's his lifeline. Gilmour thinks he's EMI staff. Waters doesn't recognize him at first. Mason's horrified. It's Syd Barrett, showing up unannounced, the ghost in the machine. He chats nonsense, asks about adding guitar, doesn't grasp the songs about him. Stays for Gilmour's wedding reception that day, then vanishes. Last time the band sees him alive. Waters slumps in tears. It crystallizes the album's theme of absence, turning personal turmoil into art. Obscure nugget. Jazz violinist Stefan Grappelli, recording nearby with Yehudi Menuhin, gets roped in for a fiddle ending on the title track. Paid £300, about $3,000 today, but mixed so low it's barely audible at 5:21. Menuhin bows out, uncomfortable improvising. They don't credit Grappelli to spare feelings, but later reissues crank it up, revealing this hidden gem like a vault cracker. Launch drama? Oh, it was a circus on fire. The Wish You Were Here tour previewed chunks live, but the finale at Knebworth Festival on July 5th, 75, 2 months pre-release, was pure chaos. Roy Harper, fresh off his album Cameo, flips out over a missing costume, trashes a Pink Floyd van with an axe, or was it a hammer? Legends vary. Slices his hand, delays setup. Power glitches, detune Wright's keyboards mid-set. He storms off, leaving them to improvise with piano and dim lights. Spitfire planes buzz overhead as planned, but critics, barred from backstage, savage the show. Album drops September 12th via Harvest and Columbia, ditching Capitol in the US over promo gripes. Packaging? Hypnosis masterpieces, black shrink wrap hiding the art, a sticker of mechanical hands shaking, echoing "Welcome to the Machine." Inside, a burning businessman handshake, shot in LA with stuntman Ronnie Rondell catching fire 15 times, singeing his moustache. A faceless salesman in the desert, a veiled nude in woods, a diver plunging splash-free into Mono Lake, mislabeled Mono Sea. All screaming unfulfilled presents, tying back to Syd's void. Advance orders, $250K in the UK, $900K in the US. Debuts at number 3 UK, number 1 soon after, tops Billboard Week 2. But reviews? Mixed bag. Rolling Stone slams the lackadaisical demeanor. Melody Maker calls it unconvincing. Waters fires back in interviews, but Time vindicates. Certified gold fast, now 13 to 20 million sold worldwide. Fast forward to the Ascent to Legend, where Wish You Were Here transcends the album, becoming a rock rite of passage. It peaks modestly on charts, Norway number 18 in 07, UK number 68 in 12, but classic radio staples it forever. Rolling Stone ranks it 302 on their 500 greatest songs. Billboard crowns it Pink Floyd's best. Live? The 94 Pulse version, captured in Rome, drops as a single with fishbowl distorted faces on the cover, nodding to two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl year after year. That lyric's roots in endless cycles of sameness, like Touring Hell or Syd's Trapped Mind. Unpack it. Fishbowl as isolation bubble, running over the same old ground, finding the same old fears. Poignant, eh? Gilmour and Waters reunite for it at Live 8 in 2005, sharing vocals after decades of beef. Waters quips it's for the absent, including Syd. Roger tours it solo, dodging pure Gilmour collabs but making exceptions here. What if the song predicted their rift? Did you exchange a walk-on part in the war for a lead role in a Cage? Swap war for band feuds, Cage for solo stardom. Satirical swipe. In a world of boy bands lip-syncing drivel, Floyd's authenticity shines like a diamond, crazy or not. The enduring impact? This track's rippled through culture like a stone skipped across time. Covers galore. Wyclef Jean's reggae-tinged take in 2001 hits UK number 28, blending Floyd with hip-hop flair. Gilmore guests with Bombay Bicycle Club in 2014 at Earl's Court, mashing it with their Rinse Me Down, poetic, since he gave guitarist Jamie McColl his first axe. Used in films, ads, even Tsunami Aid gigs with Eric Clapton. Quirky Aftermath, that hidden Grappelli violin. Unearthed in EMI vaults for 2011 reissues, now blaring in alternate mixes. Imagine if Menuhin had joined classical Floyd symphonies? Or what if Syd's visit inspired a sequel album, Wish You Weren't Here, chronicling awkward reunions? Puns aside, it's influenced everyone from Radiohead's Paranoia to Coldplay's Anthems. Facts obscure as a Floyd fog. The wind fade-out crossfades into Shine On's Wind, looping absence eternally. And Barrett? He passed in 2006, but his shadow lingers, making the song a timeless lament. Satirical twist. In today's streaming wars, execs still ask, which one's pink, while algorithms cage creativity. But Floyd broke free, leaving us wishing for more genius like this. There you have it, the wild, wacky history of Pink Floyd's Wish You Were Here, from Syd's spectral visit to radio riffs that echo forever. If this tale lit a spark, smash that subscribe button, hit like if you're swimming in that fishbowl too, and drop a comment. What's your wildest Floyd what if? Until next time, remember, don't trade your heroes for ghosts. Or do makes for killer song